Is Ukraine capable of regaining its nuclear status and becoming a nuclear power again? President Zelenskyy has hinted at such a scenario. Experts are discussing whether it is realistic in the face of war and global sanctions. Let's find out what is really behind this idea and why it could cost Ukraine much more than just resources. Ukrainian nuclear weapons. Is it really real? Don't forget to subscribe. In a recent speech in Brussels, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelenskyy said that the only way for Ukraine to survive is to join NATO or to rebuild its nuclear arsenal. He also recalled that at the beginning of its independence, Ukraine gave up the world's third largest nuclear arsenal in exchange for security guarantees. After that, the German newspaper Bild reported that, according to their high-ranking Ukrainian source, Ukraine could restore its nuclear weapons within a few weeks. Volodymyr Zelenskyy, President of Ukraine. Does it work? No, this document does not work. Do the agreements of other major partners with Russia work? No, they do not work. That is, these were not only agreements between Ukraine and Russia, but between Ukraine and all its partners. So in general, all these agreements have not worked. Which of these big countries, all the nuclear powers, which of these countries suffered? All of them? No, only one, Ukraine. Who gave up nuclear weapons? All of them? No, only one. Who was it? Ukraine. Who is at war today? Ukraine. And so it turns out that we have this, and in a conversation with Donald Trump, I told him, we have this situation, so what is the way out? Either Ukraine will have nuclear weapons, and this is our defense, or we must have some kind of alliance. Apart from NATO, we don't know any effective alliances today. NATO countries are not at war today. NATO countries are not at war. People in NATO countries are all alive, thank God. That is why we choose NATO, not nuclear weapons. We choose NATO. Let's look at how seriously we can consider the possibility of Kiev's return to nuclear status and what Ukraine lacks to do so. Technological challenges. Ukraine has retained a certain Soviet legacy, but doesn't currently possess the key technologies for the production of nuclear weapons. Despite the presence of nuclear power plants, Ukraine is not able to quickly create new reactors and doesn't have uranium enrichment or plutonium production technologies. Another problem is the outflow of personnel. Ukraine has lost a significant portion of its scientific and technical staff, and rebuilding its expert potential will require many years of investment and training. Training engineers and scientists is a multi-year process, and the scientific infrastructure is in decline. Lack of necessary infrastructure. Nuclear weapons require not only technology, but also infrastructure, which Ukraine doesn't have. In particular, centrifuges for uranium enrichment or reactors for plutonium production are needed. The construction and launch of such facilities would take several to 10 years. In addition, warheads, delivery systems, and safe test sites are needed. Even under the most optimistic scenarios, the development of nuclear weapons will take at least 10 to 15 years, and more realistically, 20 to 25 years due to a lack of infrastructure and personnel. Economic realities. Building nuclear weapons is an extremely expensive endeavor. The Ukrainian economy, which is dependent on foreign aid, will not be able to bear this burden without the support of its allies. In addition, access to specific components that Ukraine doesn't produce would need to be ensured, and their acquisition would be an additional cost. The success of Pakistan, Israel, or North Korea in developing nuclear weapons was based on the support of other countries, which Ukraine will not have. Even countries with strong scientific bases, such as India or China, spent decades developing nuclear weapons. For Ukraine, this process could take even longer due to the loss of the scientific and technical base. Political consequences. An attempt to develop nuclear weapons could lead to Ukraine's international isolation. Unlike Iran or Russia, Ukraine doesn't have sufficient natural resources to withstand sanctions. And at a time of war, when the country lacks resources, any attempt to develop nuclear weapons would further undermine the economy and destroy relations with the West. What should Ukraine do next? Instead of dreaming about nuclear weapons, Ukraine should focus on realistic goals. 1. To use the political situation to achieve acceptable conditions for the end of the war or the collapse of the enemy. 2. Strengthen the military-industrial complex. 3rd, deepen cooperation with partners for economic and military development. 4th, work on joining NATO. Dreams of nuclear weapons threaten economic collapse, military defeat, and isolation of Ukraine. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe.